Perfect. Mom, I'm going to mute you. Hi, everyone. So welcome to today's class. I made the theme glutes, which are one of our powerhouse muscles that help us in maintaining posture, stability, functional movement. They're just a very, very important muscle for any movement pattern you're doing throughout the day: standing, sitting, going upstairs, riding your bike, running, etc. So today is themed around glutes. As always, I'll give lots of options. Feel free to take any of the options I give. I won't be playing music on my end because I'm going to record it, but feel free to mute yourself and play music on your end. More than welcome to do that if you want your own jams. And then, as always, unmute me if you can't hear me or if you have any questions on what we're doing. Anything before we start? All right.
I see Emily now. Woo!
Yay!
She's alive. Okay.
All right, we're starting on our backs. All right, so starting with that low back, press down into the mat, feet are pressed down. So we're finding that neutral pelvis, which is really, really important for starting to develop those glute muscles. So pressing the feet into the mat. We're actually going to start, before you even lift up here, bringing in that right knee into hip flexion. So that right knee is pulled in and you haven't even lifted up yet. And so here you're going to start engaging that left glute to get ready to push up into a one leg glute bridge. So pressing down with that left foot and we'll lift up. So now you're in that one leg glute bridge with that right knee tucked in. Woo, so it fires up real fast. And we're just going to do some extensions here. So extending out into a straight leg. You can have a little bend, obviously, and then bringing it back into flexion. So out into extension, back into flexion. That neck is neutral here too. Flexion, extension. We're coming back in. So now that knee will be over your hip, and we'll just do some internal and external rotation here. So warming up that hip joint. Ooh, my left glute is firing up real fast. Core is engaged. Good. 3, 2, 1. Bringing that knee back into flexion, and we'll lower down onto your back. Switch to the other leg. So that left knee is coming in towards your chest. That right foot is pressing down into the mat, starting to engage that right glute. We'll press into the ground and lift up into that one leg glute bridge. Finding that neutral pelvis, we'll extend into extension and then come back into flexion. Extend and flex. So again, we're warming up the hip flexors here and then maintaining that strong glute on your right side. Good. Last one, we'll bring that knee over your hip and come to some internal and external rotations here. Warming up that hip joint. 3, 2, 1. Bringing that knee in, and we'll lower down. Whew. All right, so bringing those hands behind your head, we'll do a quick core warm up. So you're protecting the neck so you're not dragging it, but the head is always pressed back into the hands. All right, taking an inhale, exhale, lifting up off the shoulder blades here, and we'll bring that left knee over your left hip. So just up, knee is over hip, head is pressed back into hands. Lower that left foot and lower. Inhale, exhale, lifting up. That right knee is over that right hip here. You can flex that toe in towards you. Head's pressed back into the hands. Feeling those deep core muscles lighting up. Right foot down and lower. Inhale, exhale, lift up. That left knee is back over hip, and this time we're internally rotating. So that knee is coming in, that foot is going out to the side, and then switch. So now we're doing external rotation, so that knee is going out, foot is coming towards your right leg, back to center, and lower. Inhale, exhale, lift up. That right knee is over the right hip. We're internally rotating, so that right knee comes in and the right foot goes out. So knee is in, foot out. Switch, so other way. That right leg is over your left foot, knee is pointing out. foot back down, and lower. Good, inhale. Exhale, lifting up. We're doing a quick add-on. So bringing that knee up over your hip, we're going to twist just a little inch towards that left foot. So core is engaged, and then we're internally rotating here. Good, and then externally rotating. May feel a little bit different in your core with that twist. Back to the center and down. Inhale, exhale, and lift up. That right knee over right hip. We're twisting towards the right. We're internally rotating. Externally rotating. Good, back to center. Last time here. Inhale, exhale, lifting up, bringing that left knee over your left hip. We're twisting. This time we're going to extend that right arm on the outside of that left leg. And we're doing the same thing. So internally rotating. Core is engaged, back is against the mat. Externally rotating. Still pulling from that scapula. Back to center and down. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Lifting up. That right knee over right hip. We're twisting towards the right. That left arm is coming on the outside of the right thigh. We're internally rotating. It's burning. Externally rotating. Good, back to center and down. Whew. All right, feel free to grab some water. We're gonna go right into a little bit more of a glute warm up. So we'll find quadruped here. So the wrists are right under the shoulders, knees are under the hips, maybe a couple inches in from that. And we'll be doing some quadruped glute stuff. So we're just gonna start simply with extending that left leg. So notice that my hip's not here, so hips even, that foot is out behind you. We'll start in 3, 2, 1, and we're just pulsing here. So just pulsing, keeping a neutral. So you can even put one hand on your back to make sure that your back is staying neutral. Just little pulses up and down, starting to fire up that right glute. I'll do it from this angle so you can see me the whole time. And it should light up pretty fast here. Core is still engaged, so you're not dropping that low back. All right, we're switching exercises in 3, 2, 1. So we're abducting that leg out to the side here and then back in. Abducting out to the side, back in. So it's not a huge movement. You're just moving that leg out to the side, and notice that really nothing else is moving except for that leg and abduction. I haven't done this in a long time. Good, 3, 2, 1. We're bringing that knee in and then up to that 90-degree angle. Knee comes down. So I like to think of this as like I'm stamping something in the ceiling. So you're just stamping up and back down. Ugh. That right glute should be really feeling some action here. That neck is neutral still. Good, 3, 2, 1. We're coming into some fire hydrants. So opening now out to the side, but with your knee bent. So you'll notice that your range of motion is not going to be huge, keeping that hip neutral, and that's totally fine here. Good. Anyone else burning a little bit? Good, 3, 2, 1. Last one, we're coming back into that 90 and bringing that knee behind your right leg. So that knee is dropping, coming behind that right leg, and then extending back up. Coming behind, extending back up. Whew, and then we get a little bit of recovery and we'll do the other side. Coming behind, back up. And it's like not a huge movement, just bringing it a little bit like we were doing that internal rotation. 3, 2, 1, relax. You good, Mom? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, how'd that feel? Some glute burn? Did it wake up?
I did a whole glute exercise yesterday, and so I'm just dying. But
Well,
that
maybe
was my
it's
mistake.
gonna be a lot for you today. Take levels, take options. All right. We are going to the other side here. So starting with that same first exercise. So this time the right leg is out behind you. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. So again, finding that hip. So notice the hip's not up here. It's staying even and just pulsing. Little movement here with that right leg. Core is still engaged here, so we're not arching the back. I'm gonna hit that thing. So this a little bit. Love you all, you're doing great, A+. All right, we're abducting, so bringing that leg to the side and back in. You can even see my hips a little high here. All right, bringing that leg out to the side, back in. So we're feeling that abduction, that work in our outer glute here. Nice and controlled movement. Good. All right, bringing that knee in and then up to that 90-degree angle. Knee in, up to that 90-degree angle, back down. So again, like you're stamping something into the ceiling and then bringing it back down. This glute is far less weak. So again, it doesn't have to be fast. In fact, the slower you go, the more it's gonna burn. 3, 2, 1. Second to last one, we're coming to that fire hydrant. So opening that knee out to the side and back down. And notice my pelvis isn't really moving that much for this one. Just bringing that knee out and back in. This glute warm up is gonna help us and all the other exercises we're doing today that are a little bit more compound, so moving more than one part of your body at a time. All right, last one coming up to that 90-degree, and we're just bringing that right leg behind that left knee. So also your obliques are having to work a little bit here to keep the hip stabilized. So coming back up and then dropping that right knee behind your left leg. Nice. 3, 2, 1, relax. Ah! And slap around your glutes a little bit. Make sure that they're nice and warmed up. That always burns. I haven't done that in a very long time. All right, we are moving on to a little bit of our hit portion. When I say hit, it's not like jumping, don't worry. All right, so our first, I guess our interval will be 30 seconds of one exercise, 30 seconds of a second exercise, 30 seconds of a third exercise, 30 seconds rest. Repeat that again on the other side, and we'll go through that twice. So I'm thinking that it will be 8 minutes, but we'll see how much time we have for everything today. All right, so first exercise is a glute. Actually, we're gonna start with clamshells first. So those legs will be on top of each other, and you can come down on a forearm or down on your arms. And you're just gonna be opening and closing this hip. So hip is staying neutral. You're opening, those feet are staying together. If you have a band, feel free to put a band here. But you're just opening and closing this hip, so really getting into the glute muscles. All right, second exercise is a glute med bridge. So you're coming down on your forearms, legs are in that same position, and you're lifting up the hips and back down. Sometimes I like doing this on my hands, so if that feels better, you can do a glute med lift, lifting up here, or you can do this on your forearm, so lifting up and back down. Also, you could add on that top leg hover if you want another option. So that is your second one, and then your third one is we're coming into a modified side plank. So hand, knees down. You can also stagger if you want a little bit more stability. We're raising that top leg and just coming to pulses here, kind of like we did in that quadruped. Make sense? Okay. All right, we're starting in our clamshells. So again, keeping those feet together like they're glued. Just choked on my own saliva. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. So just 30 seconds here, opening and closing. It's supposed to be like a clamshell, I think. So the feet are staying together. I sometimes like to put a hand on my upper part of my pelvis to make sure I'm not pitching my pelvis every time. So we're working on that external rotation here. Oh, already feeling it. All right, 3, 2, 1. We're coming onto that forearm. So coming to our glute med lifts. So we're squeezing up off of our hips. So coming up, lifting, and then lowering back down. You can also keep both knees stacked and just lift and lower the hip. Good. 3, 2, 1. We're coming up into that modified side plank. So lifting that top leg and we're pulsing here. So keeping that core engaged. The right hand is down, left leg is lifted. So we're here lifting and lowering. Flexing that toe in towards you. Try not to splay the ribs. You're keeping them tucked a bit. Nice. 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds off, and then we'll do the other side, and then we'll do that all one more time. So we'll start with clamshells on the other side this time. Coming down, you can come on your forearms or on your hands, whatever feels best for you. Remember, you're keeping those heels together, core still engaged here. Whew. All right, we'll start in 3, 2, 1. So just opening, my range of motion is much less in this one, so don't worry too much about your range of motion. You're just opening and closing your little clam. That sounds very sexual, actually, now that I think about it. But you know what I mean. This glute is already feeling it. Holy moly macaroni. Good. 3, 2, 1. Coming up on that forearm, going right into the glute med lift. So you can raise that top leg if you want to add on. So you're lifting up and then back down. Still that core is staying engaged. So you're not letting the back arch even in this position. This is always most challenging for me, but mom doesn't think it's hard. I don't get it. 3, 2, 1. Coming into that modified side plank position. So knee is under your hip, raising that top leg, and we're pulsing. So you're feeling a little bit different place in your glute for each of these. That left hand is really helping you stabilize the scapula here. Good. 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds off. We're going back one more time through on each side. So if you want to add on, I'll give options for adding on this time, or you can keep with what we did last time. So we're coming to our clamshell position on that first side again. Knees are stacked, and you can play around with how far away your legs are. All right, starting with those clamshells in 3, 2, 1. So you can just do this opening, or you can add on an internal rotation, tap and down, or you can just stick with your normal clamshell, up to you. Sometimes I like just sticking with this, or sometimes I want to add on that internal rotation and lower. Good, 10 seconds left here. Ooh, this glute. Good, 3, 2, 1. We're coming up into our glute med lifts. So you can do that top leg hover, or if you want to add on even more, you can add a straightening of that top leg, come down and lower. So open up, straighten it out, come back in, and lower. Lift, straighten, and lower. Good. 3, 2, 1. We're coming to that side plank pulse. So finding that side plank position. You can do that pulse, or if you want to add on, you can do an extension and flexion movement like we did in our bridge. That's the word I'm looking for, bridge. So you can keep that pulse, or you can bring that knee in and back out, depending what you're feeling. Oh, it burns. Good. 3, 2, 1. All right, final time here, coming to that other side. Same options on this side as the last one. So those knees are stacked for our clamshell. Remember, you can add on that internal rotation if you liked that. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. So you can just do that open and close, or you can add on your internal rotation, close and lower. The world is your oyster. Get it, clamshells? All right, I laughed. That's all that matters. Good. 10 seconds here. Feeling that top glute really engaging to help this movement that we actually do throughout our day. 3, 2, 1. We're coming into that glute med lift, so coming onto the forearm. Remember, you can add on that straighten if you want to add on a layer. So many options, so little time. Oh man, I'm funny today. Ryan's probably in the other room like, she's not funny at all. Right, Ryan? 3, 2, 1. He said I'm hilarious, so I win. All right, coming to that side plank pulse. So coming to that pulse, or if you want to add on, you can add on that knee extension and flexion. And then we'll be off the floor for a bit, I promise. Good, 10 seconds. Good, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nice job, everyone. All right. Next up, we have 3 exercises. So our first one is a knee drive. So we're going from like a crescent lunge position, so kind of like a lunge, driving that knee up and back up, driving that knee up. So we're back into that hip flexion position, driving that knee and back. Our second one will be from standing. We'll just come into that airplane. That was a really bad demo of an airplane, but you know what I mean, airplane and back. And then our third exercise is a curtsey lunge. So just stepping behind into that curtsey lunge and back in. I'll also give the option, if you want this all to be balanced, is you can do a one leg. These are such bad demos, but a one leg curtsey lunge instead, if you want them all to be balanced movements. All right, let's do it. So we're starting with that right leg back. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. So we're in that lunge and then driving the knee up, coming back into that lunge, driving that knee forward and coming back. So working on that hip flexion, that glute should be really the powerhouse of this movement too. And think about all the times that you take the stairs in life and how you could use a little bit of hip flexion and glute engagement to help you get there. Good. 3, 2, 1. You can go right into this, into that airplane. So tipping forward, woo, and then coming back up. Tipping forward into that airplane, watching your glutes here. A little bend in that left knee. Coming forward. Getting ready for either that one leg curtsey or your step behind curtsey in 3, 2. I'm gonna go right into a one leg, but your choice. Again, you can always step behind for that lunge instead. So you should feel the curtsy one in a little bit different place in your glutes. 10 seconds. Good. 3, 2, 1. Shake it out here. Nice. We'll switch to the other side. So that right leg is forward, left leg is back, and we'll go into that knee drive. Feel free to grab a sip of water here if you need it. I need it. So we're going to our left leg knee drive here. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. So driving that left knee this time, coming back into that lunge, driving that knee. And you can add on those arms if you like a little bit more power, driving that knee, coming back. So you have a readiness here in this position, a readiness to drive forward. Good, getting ready for that airplane in 3, 2, 1. You can go right into that airplane if you want, and then coming back up to standing, coming down into that airplane. My balance is not on par tonight. But, you know, we're all practicing. 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Going into that curtsy lunge, whatever that looks like to you. You can always step behind for that curtsy lunge, or you can do a one-legged curtsy, your choice. You're all doing great. Keep it up. Good, 10 seconds. Good, 3, 2, 1. All right, did we like these? Do we want to do these one more round through, or go to a new round and do that one round through? Thoughts? Do you like these, or do you want to move on?
I liked them. I think it helps with my balance personally.
Okay. I think
I don't know what everybody
do the
else
last
thinks.
one time. So
That's fine.
okay. All right, we're starting back with the right leg back. We'll do those knee drives in 3, 2, 1. So driving that right leg forward, coming back. If you want to add a little hop at the top, feel free to add on some fun little hop, your choice. Driving that knee forward and coming back. So when you're firing that hip flexor, you also need to be firing the glute at the same time, as much as you can. So you can even touch it, make sure it's fired up at the top. Good. All right, we're coming to that airplane. So hinging forward, finding that airplane position, coming back up. I sometimes like to check where my pelvis is, so it's not pitching too much on my airplane. My balance is not going well tonight, so do not watch me on these. I feel like I'm not role modeling super well. All right, getting ready for our curtsy lunge in 3, 2, 1. So whatever that looks like for you, it can be that lunge or a one-leg curtsy lunge if you would prefer that. Good, 10 seconds. Good, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. We'll do that last side one more time. So this time we're driving our left leg forward, finding that core engagement, finding a neutral pelvis. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. So driving left foot, coming back into that lunge, driving, coming back into that lunge. So you're welcome to do a full lunge at the bottom. I've been sort of doing a modified version, but All options are welcome. So driving that knee, again, you could add that hop on if you want a little bit extra. Getting ready for that airplane in 3, 2, 1. So hinging forward for our airplane, coming back up, hinging forward into that airplane, coming back up. Whew. Finding that neutral pelvis even here. Good, getting ready for that last round of curtsey lunges in 3, 2, 1. Your choice if you want it to be one leg or if you want it to be a full curtsey lunge, your choice. Hi, friends. Good, 10 seconds left here. 3, 2, 1. Whew. All right, we're going through this last round just one time instead of twice because we don't have unlimited time. So our first exercise is a side lunge. So finding a spot on your mat, we'll come to our side lunge, hinging the hips back. So this leg is straight, this leg is bent, hinging the hips back, coming back in. So going just on one side for that whole round. Our second exercise, we'll come into an abduction, which we've practiced a bunch. So lifting that leg out to the side and back in. I'm not pitching out and back in. And then our last one is squats. So wherever you are, we're just finding those squats, hinging the hips and coming back. All right, let's do it. Finding that side lunge. I'm going to start going towards my left side, but whatever works best for you. We'll do both sides, obviously. All right, 3, 2, 1. So stepping out with that left leg, hinging the hips. My knee is staying behind my ankle, hinging back, pressing off that inside foot, and stepping back in. So if you're coming from the front, it looks like this. Good, 10 seconds. Hinging back, pressing in. 3, 2, 1. Going right into those abductions on your left leg. So again, finding that neutral pelvis, flexing that toe in towards you. And again, this isn't a huge movement. Don't worry if this is really just going like less than 45 degrees out. That right glute is fired up too. I'm making sure my pelvis is not arching. Good, getting ready for those squats. In 3, 2, 1. All right, finding that squat position here, sitting those hips back and down, pressing back. Again, notice I'm not arching my back is staying flat. Everyone's range of motion is going to be different here. Good, 10 seconds. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. We'll go to that other side, one round through, and then we'll do a quick little cool down. All right, so this time, side lunging, that right leg out and back in. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1. So right leg out, hinging back, pressing back in, right leg out, hinging back and back in. So feeling that inner thigh really fire up as well here, hinging back, pressing back in. Good, 5 seconds left, and then we'll go into that abduction. 3, 2, 1. So this time that right leg coming out to the side and back in. Nice and controlled here. You can even bend the other leg a little bit so you have a little bit more stability. Good. All right, coming to the squats in 3, 2, 1. Final round here, 30 seconds. Repping out a few of those squats. Again, taking it as slow as you need. The measure of glute strength here is squeezing them on the way up. So not just using the quads, but using the glutes to squeeze you back up in that squat. Good, 10 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Nice job, everyone. Whew. Sit on back. Take a second. You all made it. That really brought my heart rate up more than I thought it would. All right, so let's do a 4-minute cool down and then we'll get on with our day. So we're actually gonna start in our quadruped position here. And we can start by extending that left leg out and we'll just roll back and forth here. So getting some calf release. Good. And then I'm going to do this from this position, but we'll come into a quick downward facing dog. So extending that left leg up, and we're going to do some hip circles here. So releasing some of that tension in our glutes. So circling one way. Again, keeping the pelvis neutral here so the pelvis isn't moving. We'll switch the other direction. Good, and then we'll come into a pigeon. So bringing that leg underneath you. Again, we're not trying to fall all the way forward here. So if this feels good, you can stay all the way up. If you want to come down on your forearms, you can, but getting some nice release in that glute. But you're not trying to drop those hips down to the floor. You can keep some engagement in the glutes and the core still here. Good. We'll walk back up out of this pigeon, come back into our downward facing dog, and just walk the dog out here. So bending one knee and then the other. Getting some release in the back of the legs. And then we'll come back down to the quadruped, bringing that right leg behind you this time. So for that same calf stretch, I have to do it on my mat or else I'll slip. But getting some release in that right calf this time. Good. We'll come back into that downward facing dog, extending the right leg up and coming to those hip circles. Other direction. And then we'll come to that pigeon on your right side. So bringing that knee underneath your hip. Again, you can come down just on your hands or you can come down on your forearms. Whatever feels best to you here. Again, not trying to drop those hips down as much as try to bring some strength into the stretch. Then we'll walk up and then we'll flip around. So we're coming into a seat here and we'll release the shoulders a little bit. So come to a nice shoulder roll. So we're moving the scapula here. So try to not just move the deltoids, but we're moving the scapula up, down, and back. So getting some release around the traps, around the neck. This should feel good, like you're moving those ribs maybe after a day of not really moving them. Bringing those arms up into a cactus, And we'll just come to some thoracic twists here. So little movements. We're moving from the center of our spine. The neck is stacked on the scapula here. Shoulder blades, more colloquially. Good. We'll stop on that right side. We'll bring that left hand and just, you can come to a slight twist here. Might feel good to open up that chest a bit. Again, this movement is coming from your ribs, not your hips. Good. We'll come back to the other side, twisting that right arm. So coming to a light twist in the chest. Good. Coming back to center, bringing those hands together, punching forward and releasing that upper back. So getting some release in the upper back tension. Trying to spread the scapula. Good. Bringing the hands behind the back and getting some chest opening. So my hands are at my pelvis. So rather than trying to straighten them out, see if you can kind of squeeze the shoulder blades together here instead. Getting some chest opening. We did it. All right, thank you all so much for coming. I think next week, because today was glutes themed, we'll do some more arm stuff next week. So be on the lookout for some arm stuff. I'm gonna stop recording.